Case 3 files has two worksheets. One is customers, where the customers are listed in alphabetical order. The second sheet is payment. The customers in this these worksheets are not listed in alphabetical order. Instead, they are listed in chronological order. So that's very important important point to keep in mind. First of all, you will need to enter the pricing from page 15, the pricing guide. One of the most important functions that you will learn to use in this case is the lookup function. It's a very commonly used function. It's a very useful function when you have information that are in a table, like the pricing for this case, it's in a table format. Then what you want to do is you want to have a function that can automatically take the size and then look it up from this table and put the correct pricing in the standard charge column. Okay, now VLOOKUP will do that for you, and the detailed information is in the Lynda video. Also, there are additional information in the handout. So what you want to do is use a VLOOKUP function to take all the correct pricing based on the size and put it in column D. Then you will need to insert a new column over here that will add up the columns. And this column is going to be total weekly charges, because there are other additional charges that you will see later on. So this is the after you put the standard fees in column 4 or column D, column E is fairly easy. It's the total of column C and column D that will give you the total weekly charges. There are other additional tasks that you will need to do that are embedded in paragraphs. So read your paragraphs very, very carefully. If you miss any of those, you will be missing points. So for example, on page 15, some of the paragraphs under the design specifications tells you that the owner wants to have a total count of his customers. That's one of them. He also wants the anticipated total revenue by day. That's another one. So there are a couple of them in the paragraphs here that you need to read very carefully so that you don't miss them. How to use them, what kind of function to use are in the handout. To count the number of customers, you can use COUNT_AID. That's a very easy to use function. And the anticipated total revenue by day, you can use the SUMIF. And that's also another very easy to use function that is the details is in the handout. Now, more important thing is that after you build the customer worksheet has the total weekly charges, then you have to take these numbers and put it in the payment worksheet, and that's a bit more tricky. So what you need to do is that you need to insert a column here. I'm going to call it the total, the same. So I'm going to actually copy it from here, probably be easier. Control C and Control V. Okay, so now I have the same title over here. You want to have the same numbers from this column, from the customers sheet, and you want to put it in column D in the payment sheet. You cannot do a direct copy. It's because in the customer sheets, the customers are listed in alphabetical order by last name. In the payment sheets, the customers are not listed in alphabetical order by last name. It's in chronological order. So you will need to have another VLOOKUP to look it up by last name. And of course, this doesn't work in the real life because you have multiple people with the same last name. But in this case, that's not true. So you'll be able to use the last name and look up the total weekly charges and put that in this column. Then you need to insert another column. I'm going to put it in between the additional one-time fees and the amount paid. That's going to be the total weekly charge. No, I'm sorry, this is going to be the total charges. So that is the weekly standard charge plus one-time charge, and that's to give the total charges. And that's the total amount that each customer is supposed to pay. And then you have amount paid. And of course, you need to have another column here to see if they overpaid or they still owe you money. So these are the few things you need to keep in mind. One is to use VLOOKUP. You're going to need it twice. One is to get the standard feed for customer sheets. The other one is you need to use in the payment sheets to take the weekly charges and look up by name and put it in the payment sheets. Don't forget and read the case very carefully to look for the additional tasks that the case asks you to do. You may put it anywhere. You can put it at the bottom of the customer sheets or the anticipated revenue type of information, or you can put it on the right of the custom worksheet. You are free to design the way any way you like, as long as it's professional looking.